I'm going to be presumptuous and assume that most of you watching had at least one parent that taught you how to be a good kid. You each had someone who taught you right from wrong, how to respect yourself and others, and how to be a positive influence in this world. Did anyone have a parent along the way that specifically said to you that each lesson you learned was so you could become a good parent? Because when you're 6 years old or 12 years old, your parents are not specifically teaching you how to be a good adult or a good parent. They're teaching you how to be a good kid. Then 20 years later, when you become a parent, you, for the most part, just figure out how to be a good parent. Some of you read books and magazines on how to be a good parent. Some of you ask your other friends or family members how to be a good parent. Some of you get your insights from scary mommy posts on Facebook. You know who you are. But most of it, you just figure out on your own. How do you figure it out on your own? It's because you are resourceful. And somewhere along the way, when you were 6 years old or 12 years old, you were taught something or saw something that may not have played any role in your life at that time, but 20 years later, those earlier moments in your life when you learned basic life skills and maybe even advanced life skills have translated into what has made you a successful adult, a successful parent, and probably was one of the things that has made you a successful business person today. For me, being entrepreneurial was always part of my DNA. I was always creating some type of businesses. When I was 10 years old, I used to shovel the neighbor's snow. I would go up and down my block ringing doorbells until someone hired me to shovel their driveway. When I was 12, I decided that I wanted to become a DJ. I don't know what that meant, or I didn't know what that meant, or how the heck I was going to do it, but I wasn't afraid to ask the questions or figure out how to do it. I went to the classified sections of the Philadelphia Inquirer and the Jewish Exponent and found companies that were advertising their party services and called them up and asked them if they were hiring. After about 15 phone calls, I finally found someone who would hire me. So I DJed almost every weekend from the time I was 12 years old until I was about 25 years old. I actually may have DJed some of your bar and bat mitzvahs and sweet 16s back in the 90s or early 2000s. So when I was 17, I wanted to learn more about the radio industry. So I worked as an intern for Philly 103.9 radio station my entire junior year of high school. And when I was 18, my college roommate and I decided to start our own DJ company. We scrounged together about $3,000 and went out and bought DJ equipment. Then we spent the next 2 weeks calling the social chairs of every fraternity and sorority at Penn State to see if they needed a DJ for their next party. So our company was called Two Sharp DJs. I was DJ Ono. And when I was 19, I thought I wanted to be an on-air personality on TV. So I figured out how to use my resources to get an internship at MTV. And if you remember that back in the 90s and early 2000s, MTV used to have an MTV Beach House. So I interned all summer at the MTV Beach House in Key West, Florida. And I met some extremely talented and amazing people that summer. It was a really cool experience. So when I was 20, I figured out how to pick up girls, and that's when I met my wife. And when I graduated college, when I was 22 years old, I quickly recognized that real estate was where the opportunities were. So I leveraged my resources to get a job at a large national development firm, and I learned the real estate industry from the development side first. And the knowledge that I gained there would pay dividends for me later in life. When I was 23 years old, I figured out how to get married. When I was 25, I figured out how to have kids. Then when I was 28, I figured out how to have two kids at the same time, twins. I'm very efficient. Then after many years of knowledge gained from the development side, I transitioned my career to the sales side of the real estate business when I was 28 years old, where I recognized that there were developers out there who wanted opportunities to find good deals. And my value to them at that time was that I knew how to scout out the good development opportunities. So after years of helping developers build their businesses, I started to do some development on my own when I was 29 years old. Then I got the bug, if you know what I mean. I got the development disease, and I just absolutely loved it. I wanted to do more, and I just had to do more. So when I was 29, I began to grow my company, Philly Living. I went to work every day with the mindset that I was unemployed and that my job was to get hired. When I was 32, I started my wealth building journey. and I started investing in cash flowing assets, rental properties that provided passive income to me. A few years later, when I was 35 years old, I opened up our brokerage, Keller Williams Philly, so I could provide opportunities for agents to have their highest productivity and best work-life balance. A place where they can collaborate with each other to become better real estate agents, better business people, and overall better human beings. Then after all that, people started to take notice. And when I was 38 years old, I got asked to give the keynote speech to the most successful real estate professionals under 40 years old in Philadelphia at the 40 Under 40 event. And then somewhere along the way, people started to take notice and people started calling me an overnight success. You see, in order to be called an overnight success, you first have to put in years and years of hard work and commitment so you can be called an overnight success. So we sometimes overestimate what we can accomplish in a year, but underestimate what we can accomplish in 5 years. You're never more than 5 years away from where you want to be in life. The knowledge that we all gain from our life experiences is what helps to shape us as business people and active members of society today. It's these experiences that allow us the confidence to make grounded decisions that may seem otherwise impulsive to others. It's also what allows us to determine the path of our lives and our careers. Now, that's not to say that every decision that we will make will turn out to be a good one. It's okay to try things out that don't work. And it's okay to fail, but fail fast and fail forward and learn from the mistakes that you make and learn from the mistakes of others, because other people's mistakes are a resource for you. So make sure you're learning from them. A lack of resources are not the problem. A lack of resources are never the problem. It's really a lack of resourcefulness, which is always the problem. Your success will come from your ability to figure things out, and your failures will come from your inability to figure things out. Your ability to execute and implement your visions will be the difference makers in your careers. The ability to get from point A to point B, from vision to execution, will be what separates you from the pack. In real estate, that's going to be your ability to take action, even if it's not perfect, because imperfect action beats a perfect plan every time. In real estate, that could come in many different forms. That can come from recognizing a good investment opportunity and taking action to buy it. It could come from recognizing a talented person and figuring out how to bring them into your world and into business with you. And it can come from the real estate agents that are watching, from your ability to be able to help a client get to the finish line in their home buying or their home selling journey. And for developers that are watching this video, it can come from your ability to visualize something that's truly special from a vacant piece of ground, and your ability to put the pieces of the puzzle together, which would include the money, the financing, the architectural plans, the approvals, and creating a product that the market really needs. Resourcefulness is the ultimate resource. In order to be resourceful, you need to think differently than everyone else. Because today, success and winning doesn't come from beating the competition at the old game. It's about inventing a whole new game, defining a whole new market category, a new way of doing things, a new way of thinking, and then dominating it over time. See, you can't build a legendary business without building a legendary category. If you think that having the best products is all it takes to win, you're going to lose. Now, let's shift gears and let's talk about social media for a minute, because social media has become our best friends and it's become our worst enemies as well, because most people and most companies are living in someone else's thinking. How many of you went on Facebook or Instagram or another social media platform today? Actually, how many of you have been on social media since you started watching this video? And when you read about how awesome somebody else was doing, did you think to yourself, I wish I was doing that, or that looks amazing, I'm so jealous? Guys, you have to stop comparing yourself to other people's, you have to stop comparing your outsides. Let me rephrase that. I apologize. You have to stop comparing other people's outsides to your insides, because you're being distracted by other people's goals. Each of you should be running your own individual race, playing your own individual game. So collectively, we can win this team real estate race together. Don't gauge yourself on what others are doing. Gauge yourself against what you are doing. Being resourceful is about understanding how to capitalize on opportunities in your business and about opportunities in your life. Whether it's about a good hire or an investment or a business opportunity or a strategic partnership, resourceful people recognize an opportunity. As real estate professionals, you all have the greatest opportunity in the world. You have the ability to build wealth. My definition of wealth is having $1 more of passive income than you have in personal expenses. So your passive income can cover 100% of your personal expenses to fund your perfect life, your life by design. Your goal as real estate professionals should be to figure out how you can build wealth so you can work because you want to work, not because you have to work. So you can have freedom to make choices. Now, how many of you, if you stopped working in your job, whether that's selling houses, building houses, etc., whatever it is you do for a job every day, how many of you would have enough money coming in on a monthly basis to cover your personal living expenses? Now, that's a scary thought. I want you to internalize this concept for a second. If something were to happen to you, or you got fired, or if you just decided to stop doing what you do every day, how much passive income would you have coming in? For some of you, the answer may be zero, or it may be not enough to cover your personal expenses. So I want you to think about this for a second. If you had enough passive income to cover 100% of your personal expenses, could you retire? Would you travel more? Would you spend more time with your family? Would you spend more time with your friends? Would you finally do all of those cool things that you keep talking about doing? Would you stop putting off all the things you keep telling yourself that you're going to do? I just want you to internalize that concept for a second. Now, I want to ask you, are you living in your movie or are you living in someone else's movie? Are you living the life that you want to be living? Are you doing business with the people that you want to be doing business with? Because the goal is not to do business with everybody who needs what you have. The goal is to do business with people who believe what you believe. You can't trade your authenticity for the approval of other people. That's just a fact. Because your decisions, not your conditions, will determine your destiny, your successes or your failures. Now, I'm sure that the people watching this video are some of the most highly successful people. And it's an honor to me that you are watching this video today. I really appreciate it. But don't let your successes go to your head and don't let your failures go to your heart. Use your resourcefulness to take your career to the next level, to take your relationships to the next level, and most importantly, to take your life to the next level. So before I go, I want to pass on some words of wisdom that I've been given over the years that I thought might be helpful to you. What you practice in private is what you will be rewarded for in public. That's number one. Number two, focus equals feeling. Focus equals direction. What you focus on is what you're going to feel. Focus shapes everything. Focus on the things you can control. Number three, if you're not where you want to be, it's because you're not who you need to be right now. Number four, leaders develop daily, but not in a day. Number five, you don't automatically get better, but you automatically get older. Number six, everything worth having is uphill. You can't have uphill hopes and downhill habits. Number seven, someone's opinion of you doesn't need to be your reality. Number eight, action may not always bring happiness, but there is no happiness without action. Number nine, success is a mathematical equation. Number 10, no one is going to come to your house and make your dreams come true. Number 11, are your goals equal to your potential? Number 12, our lives and our careers are determined by our acceptance or our rejection of our perceived limitations. Number 13, you can't break the rules until you know how to play the game. And last but not least, always give 100% unless you're giving blood or getting a divorce. Here's to your success for many, many more years to come.